Can therapists tell when you're lying? Good ones can.
Ooh, can my therapist adopt me?
Why do therapists need therapy?
What do therapists think of their clients?
There are tells and there are ways to, pick up on, if a person's kind of uncomfortable with what they're sharing. Sometimes I'll tell them what their tell is, and sometimes I don't, because then they, stop using it. I mean, you can't be perfect with that. Even the experts aren't perfect with that. I always say to a client, most of the time, you lie to yourself. So of course you're gonna lie to me. And it's not, like I said, it's not an intent. It's that if you're in a self-delusion, if you're caught up in a self-lie, and you believe it to be true, you don't think you're lying.
Wow. I think that actually that would be illegal. So if you're already seeing them as a therapist, that's probably illegal. Or I think you have to wait 5 years before you can establish any kind of relationship with the client you've had. But becoming a child, most of my clients are also older than me, so that, I think the answer is no. Your therapist cannot adopt you.
This is a good question. I find that, it's not exactly the same, but I did mention before that a lot of my friends are therapists, and especially my peer who I go to supervision with, she's my closest colleague, and sometimes we'll talk about stuff that are pretty personal. It's not necessarily therapy, but there is a lot of disclosure. There are a lot of tools that we're using in our interaction that would be therapeutic-like, such as active listening, validation, just feeling heard, right? And so I think a lot of people come to therapy to feel heard. And I think that's a skill that I try to teach my clients and couples too. So.
I don't think there is... I don't know how to answer that. What do we think? We are trained not to judge, and that's important, yeah. I think sometimes what I think is oh my goodness, there's sometimes this thought, how is that possible that you are here, that you went through what you went through life and you managed? Because it's a story of resilience or incredible survival, and that's actually worth admiring. I remember catching myself how is that possible? In such period of life or short span of life, so much story happening, and yet you are who you are. So I remember catching myself on this one.
I have a lot of empathy towards them. I try to understand their pain as much as possible. I try to connect with that pain. I try to think of what it would be like to feel that. And sometimes my eyes well up, and I've never actually fully cried during a session, but I've felt it coming, and I do express to them I'm so sad for you right now. And so some of my clients are really they're really cool people. We laugh a lot in therapy. Therapy's not always really sad. Sometimes it can be really happy and joyful and funny, right?